Hello and welcome to a special edition of All Things Aviation and Aerospace. I'm Vince Mickens. Today we're going to mix some aviation historical perspective with current workforce needs and tell you about a group of folks out in Texas that are doing their part to bring highly skilled maintenance technicians and aspiring professional pilots into the industry. As you all know, my primary mission with All Things Aviation and Aerospace is to let you know about opportunities and possibilities for exciting careers in aviation and aerospace. As an example, not only can an airframe and power plant mechanic work on commercial airliners and private jets, but they can also turn wrenches at space exploration companies like Blue Origin, SpaceX, Rocket Lab, Boeing, Axiom Space, Lockheed Martin, Sierra Space, and Virgin Galactic, to name a few. My guests today are with a variety of Chennault Aviation entities, including Chennault Aviation Maintenance Academy, Chennault Aviation Academy, and we are going to hear about General Claire Lee Chennault and the Chennault Aviation and Military Museum. So let me start by introducing my panel of guests, beginning with Aaron Wang, the President and CEO of Chennault Aviation. Aaron, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I forgot to check, I do this sometimes on my show. Let me see if I can get your last name right, Mike. Michael Riccardelli.
Very good. Pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Mike Riccardelli. He's the Director of Education for Chennault Aviation Maintenance Academy. We have Joshua, and I forgot to check on yours, Borel? Or
Borel.
Borel. Director
Borel.
of Maintenance. Borel?
Yes. The
I
French
had it right the
pronunciation.
first time. Okay. I get to call you guys by your first name after this, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. No, just kidding. Joshua is the Director of Maintenance for Chennault Aviation. And we have Charlene Fontaine, the Executive Director of the Flying Tiger 69th Depot Repair Squadrons. Welcome, Charlene.
Thank you, Vince.
Great to have you here. We also have a couple of students. We have Vincent Sin, who has already gotten it from me because he's kind of, tagging off my name, but it's okay, Vincent, from one Vincent to another. Since you're accomplishing such great things, I'm looking forward to having you on the show and talking about what you're pursuing. So welcome to the show, Vincent.
Thank you for having me.
Sounds like I'm talking to myself. And finally, we have Jeremy Janes. Jeremy is also a student, and they both are Flight Academy technicians. So guys, welcome. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thanks, sir.
So most of all, we have the honor of being graced by the presence of Nell Calloway. She is the granddaughter of General Claire Lee Chennault, and she is the president and CEO of Chennault Aviation and Military Museum. Nell, welcome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's really great to have you guys on the show. Really looking forward to talking with everybody. I do want to start out because there's a really significant historical perspective regarding the Chennault history, let's say. And so I'd like to start out with you, Nell, and ask you to tell us, well, actually, before I do that, I got ahead of myself. And we'll start with you, Nell. Tell us a little bit about your background, please.
Well, my background actually was in nursing many, many years ago, but I took over and I volunteered for the museum. We opened in 2000, 25 years ago. This is our 25th anniversary, and I'm really proud of that, with the fact that our museum is housed in the largest navigation school in the whole United States in World War II. And they wanted to do a Chennault room and call my mother, who was General Chennault's youngest American daughter, and asked her to do the Chennault room. And she quickly called me and told me I was doing a Chennault room. So we started out by doing the Chennault room here at the museum, and I'm really proud of that. I never realized, I think, how far-reaching that would be. We expanded the museum in 2007. I became head of the museum in 2008. And I'm really proud of the way that we've been able to grow, expand. Our motto now is more than a museum, because we actually do a lot more. We have over 12,000 artifacts at the museum. We represent all wars from World War I through current conflicts, which were one of the few museums in the United States, if not the only museum in the United States, that actually has artifacts from all of the wars. A lot of them tell the story, but they don't actually highlight and have the artifacts that we have. And of course, we have a beautiful bilingual exhibit, both in Chinese and English, of my grandfather's the Flying Tiger exhibit. It's based on the book that he wrote in 1949 called Way of a Fighter. And we wanted to highlight a lot of what he was able to accomplish in China from 1937 to 1945, but actually 4 years before the Americans ever got involved in World War II. There's a whole backstory that most people don't know that history. And I think for today, especially to understand the history and legacy of what he was able to do in China and to try to better understand the Chinese culture is extremely important in this day and time. But we also have a lot of veterans programs. We have 8 now counseling programs for combat veterans, non-combat veterans, veterans families, and first responders, because that is a real issue in our military, and it's a real issue with first responders. All of our programs are free. Our museum is free. We live in a poor community, and we're able to do fundraisers and to get people on board and understand that we live in this poor community, but it's so important for our young people to learn history and to learn about the important history of how the United States came to be what it is today. So
Okay.
I'm trying to keep it short, but that's in a nutshell what we do.
Got you. And we'll come back and talk some more about that throughout the show. That makes for a good segue to go to Charlene. Charlene, tell us a little about your background and your involvement with Flying Tigers 69.
Thank you, Vince. My dad was a mechanic, actually, in the 69th Depot Repair Squadron. They were a top secret fourth echelon squadron in World War II. And in 2004, I was asked by their organization to put a reunion on in Indianapolis. And silly me, I thought they had a 501c3 and everything else. This is just a group of guys who got together after the war. There were 350 of them who served under General Chennault. And then they got together in the late 70s, and about 150, 175 families came together at that point. And then I started the organization in 2005. We became a 501c3 in 2007. And I met Nell, and the rest is history, I guess you could say, because we've been working together for different projects and being supportive of one another. And our squadron was amazing, and our dads were phenomenal. And they had a history with General Chennault because they were on the base with him. And it's been a great story, and it's changed my life, and it's helped me help change other people's lives by telling their history. So it's exciting and wonderful. And part of their dream was to have education for the future. And so that's what we do. We are the
Great.
scholarship arm for the Chennault Academies.
Very good. Well, that's great. Well, we're looking forward to hearing more about that and talking about that. I want to skip across, and I want to, talk to a couple of the stars of this show. I'll start with the one who has the same first name as me, Vincent. Vincent, tell us a little bit about you, about your background, how you ended up in aviation maintenance, and how you got involved with the Chennault Academy.
Yeah, so I'm originally not from Texas. I was born and raised in New York City and ended up moving here 2023. And I was running a business with my parents that's very heavily based in customer service. And I thought it was time for a career change. So my brother always talked about aviation. He's always wanted to be a pilot. I looked into the whole aviation field and found aviation maintenance. Started looking into schools, found CAMA, and then reached out to Mr. Rick, and we set up a meeting, and you know signed up, and here I am. But it's definitely really exciting being the first student here. Really got to set the tone for current and future students.
That's pretty significant, being the first student.
It is, yeah. It's
Yeah.
definitely exciting, and sometimes it feels like there's a lot of pressure trying to set that tone and just being a good example to look up to. But at the same time, it's definitely special, and I don't think, anything could take that feeling away.
Yeah. Jeremy, how about you? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yes, sir. Born and raised Greensboro, Georgia. Jeremy James, by the way. Joined the Air Force. I wasn't really into aircraft growing up, mainly into sports, outdoor activities. Joined the Air Force in 2010, got my first taste of aircraft maintenance, and I've had grease in my mouth ever since. Just
I haven't heard that
aircraft
expression in a
mechanic.
bit.
Right. You can't be a good mechanic if you haven't ever tasted grease. So I like to get in there and get my hands dirty. And the Air Force gave me my blessing into the maintenance field. And I have tried to be an example for everyone to follow and everyone that I've come behind to just lead and not follow and be that thermostat and not the temperature. And so I just really enjoy safe, compliant maintenance. And if I won't fly on them, I won't allow anyone to fly on them. So I made it here to Chennault. Didn't know if I wanted to get back in the aircraft field after the Air Force. Been here for a little over 3 years, and it's the best job I've ever had. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great to hear. That's a good segue for me to go to you, Joshua. And, as the head of maintenance there at Chennault Aviation, and hearing and what you know in terms of Vincent and Jeremy, share your thoughts and your background.
So my name is Joshua Borel. I was born in Port Arthur, Texas. Went to the Air Force in 2011. I was a C-5 crew chief at the ISO dock at Dover.
The C-5A Galaxy?
C-5A, B, C, and M. Worked on
Oh,
all
wow. Big airplane.
big airplane. And it's weird now. I'm working on 20-foot wingspan Pipers. Went from big
Yeah, that could fit in one of the engines of a C-5.
quite easily. But came back to Texas after working at a factory for a couple of years and decided I needed to get back into aviation. I went to Aviation Institute of Maintenance where Mr. Rick was actually my power plant instructor and my skills team coach. When I got my A&P license, I got out and started working for Chennault Aviation Academy whenever we were in Conroe under Jeff Grant, my old boss, and learning from him and applying what I've learned from the Air Force and the fact that I've been in aviation in some way, shape, or form since I was about 8. I worked my way up. I'm the director of maintenance now for Chennault Aviation Academy. We have our own outside maintenance service, Chennault Aviation Service, and helping out working on the airplanes and setting up different mock-ups and training aids for CAMA.
Yeah, so one of the things, before I go to Mike, one of the things I like to point out about aviation is aviation has a lot of areas that people don't often think about. Vincent alluded to that earlier, saying that he didn't even know that this opportunity existed. You have had a passion for aviation since you were 8 years old. Did you have an idea of what you wanted to do? Was maintenance on there? Were you thinking of being a pilot, or where were you when you were a kid on this?
Watching Top Gun on the living room floor and playing with model airplanes.
Top Gun will do it every friggin' time.
I grew up always wanting to be a fighter pilot, and just with my eyes and some of the other issues I've had, I knew I'd never be able to do that.
Yeah.
But my dad got me into flying RC airplanes when I was 8.
Cool. Yeah. RC airplanes are a lot of fun. And I feel you on the I wanted to be a naval aviator, and my eyes kept that from happening as well. So totally understand that. Mike, you are the head of education, director of education there. Tell us a little bit about your background and what you guys are doing with some of your programs.
I've been in aviation since I was 17 years old. I started with the Marine Corps as a CH-46 E-model helicopter mechanic. Once I got out of the military, I still wanted to pursue my aviation career. That's all I've ever thought about ever since I was old enough to start talking. It was all about airplanes and aviation. My goal was to become an astronaut,
That was my original goal at 8 years old. I did not reach that level, but I did reach the level that I'm at today. I've been teaching aviation maintenance technicians now for, I don't know, 13, 14 years. It's not something that I thought I wanted to do. I wanted to turn wrenches on helicopters. I just kind of fell into it. Once I started teaching, I realized it was something that I really enjoyed doing. Changing lives was something that really meant a lot to me, and helping the aviation industry by getting good qualified technicians out there in the field. How I got here with Chennault is actually a crazy story. Joshua Borel was already working
We're
here.
all ears.
Joshua Borel was already working here, and I was working at another outfit here in Houston. And I called and asked Joshua and Mr. Aaron if they would sponsor my skills team. And they did, and we went out. And while we were out there competing, Joshua was out there with me also, and this was in Atlanta, Georgia. While we were out there, Joshua, we just got to talking. He's like, "Man, why don't we look into starting A&P school?" And man, when he said that, my eyes perked up, and I'm like, you know what? That's a really good idea.
A really
So we came
lofty
back,
goal, too.
man. We got back, and then we presented it to Mr. Aaron right there, and he started smiling a little bit too, I think, and the rest is history. Here we are. We've got 17 students enrolled, top-notch students too, by the way. Everybody is just 100%. Our reviews are 100%. Our surveys are 100%. Our students are very happy. They're happy to be a part of what we're doing also. From
Yeah,
this point on, I mean, sky's the limit. I mean, we're not stopping. We're going.
that's fantastic. Well, Aaron, he segued perfectly for me to you because you're actually leading the charge there with all things Chennault Aviation. So tell us a little bit about you and some of the things that Mike is talking about.
I think you're gonna be disappointed after you hear my story.
No.
I born in a little town of the South China Sea, cross the ocean of Taiwan. Uh, Left China 45 years ago, came to the United States, pursue for the dream called American Dream, I guess. And came to here, wash dishes, become a cook. And I suddenly opened many restaurants in Monroe, Louisiana. I got the opportunity to meet almost everybody in Chennault family. I'm just landed in the right place, had the fortune to meet Chennault great children, many great grandchildren.
Was
Yeah.
there an interest in aviation at that time?
I love aviation. I remember one time, my dad brought me to the city. We just passed by the airport and say, Dad, can I go take a look of it? Because China airport is very isolated. They won't let you come near to it. So we had to watch it far away for the airplane to take off landing. That was my dream in my life all time, but I never thought a little guy like me could never get into the aviation industry. Never thought that would be for me because it sounds like too far, way too far from me. But whenever I get to know Chennault family and I involved with Chennault Foundation in Monroe, Louisiana, I still didn't thought about I could be a part of aviation until one day, lady named Nell Calloway say, "Hey, guy, where you came from?" I said, "I came I brought a group of people to the museum. She stopped me. Hey, where your guy came from? I said, I came from China. He said, why you speak well English? It came from China. I said, I'm live here. And she asked me, are you Aaron Wang? I say, how do you know? I don't have name on my forehead. So that's a way got to meet great lady of Nell Calloway, and she's the one put me into all this. You see what I got right there? It's all her dream, all Chennault family dream. I'm just the guy coming in to to do whatever it takes. What's the sad thing is I don't have any aviation background, but I have a good dream. The good dream is to make a aviation facility can have a pilot training, AMP training. Hopefully, the domestic American student and Chinese student can train under the same roof. That's what General Chennault has done for Chinese people 85 years ago. That even though I don't know much about aviation, but I'm grown up with appreciation of every minute what Flying Tiger has done for Chinese. We appreciated every minute of it. I am American and I am a Chinese. I'm carry both of that culture. I need to bridge the gap that I need to fulfill my appreciation to the American young men and women go to far away of China. They don't know anything about it. A lot of them is donating, give out their life, give out their family to go there to help somebody they don't know, so-called Chinese. And also being an American, I am like to be appreciated that all the American has a such kind, good heart to help other. That's why I'm devoted myself since I met Nell Calloway to today.
Yeah, well said. Nell, I'm going to go to you again and tell us a little bit about your vision with the schools and everything that you guys are doing.
Well, I found out it was around 2011 that China had opened its skies to private aviation. They'd only been commercial and military. And I started thinking, my grandfather's legacy, he started flying in 1919 and he studied aviation. He developed fighter techniques that they still use today. And what a great way to carry on his legacy if we could get Chinese and Americans together. Just a little short thing. I feel like the relationship between China and the United States is the most important relationship in our world today. So how do we build that relationship? We get young men, students who can work together just as they did to fight a war. We can bring them together. We can teach them the history. We can also, in the same school, there's a bond there. There's a shared relationship that they would have. And that was 2011. And it was a few years before I met Aaron. And he didn't really tell you the rest of the story. When I met him, I told him, you're not leaving the building until you give me your cell phone number and we're going to have a talk. So I actually kind of captured him on that. And he came in and he was very, very open to the idea. And, God works a lot of miracles, but he's one of my miracles. And I just appreciate his heart. I appreciate his willingness. He told me he had retired. I asked him, I said, how old are you? When he told me how old he was, I said, you're way too young to retire. I had this great idea. Why don't we start aviation school? And he did run out the door then. And so here we are. I can't tell you how moved I am by all the stories I just heard, by all the young people and everybody that's sharing what they get from Chennault Aviation Academy. And Vincent, I can't help but thank you because my grandfather would be so pleased to be on all things aviation and aerospace. So that's really my feelings, but I'm feeling pretty emotional right now with all the testimonies I just heard.
Absolutely. What can you guys, and this is to everybody. I'd like to hear everyone's perspective or whoever wants to talk about it on, for example, what I mentioned at the top of the show, and that is that yes, you can be an AMP, an aircraft and power plant, airplane and power plant mechanic to work on, commercial airliners and private jets, et cetera. But there's all these other opportunities that also, especially where technology and space exploration is going, that you can turn wrenches on. Because it takes the rocket scientist to figure out certain things and the propulsion genius to figure out things. But somebody's got to put that stuff together and know what they're doing and keep whoever's going to be riding on it safe. And I just love to hear what you guys have to say about that. as we move into the future technology of all that's going on. Anybody who wants to chime in?
I'll start. I mean, with the way technology has been going recently, we're definitely in a big push toward more and more and more automation, especially in the cockpit, but also with entire flight systems. Right now, our local big town, Houston, is basically working on developing an air taxi system to get people into and out of the airports that will run multi-rotor electric aircraft. And the way the industry is going and the way artificial intelligence is going, as far as commercial air traffic, I think the time of the pilot has a limit on it, you know?
Don't say that.
Well,
They're going to need us even with AI, but go ahead.
But in the end, you're never, ever, ever really going to get rid of the wrench turners that are fixing it whenever it breaks.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's one thing Mike always says too, but the big part of A&P school and the big part of training a mechanic for an aircraft is you're not teaching them how to specifically do things. You're not saying, hey, this is how you would remove the engine off a 747. They're not saying, hey, this is how you change a tire on a Cessna 172. It's here's some basic skills on how to use wrenches, but also here are the processes in aviation and aerospace. You know, you have to use your tech data to do your work. And that's true from 172 up to a Falcon 9. Here are the basic principles that we're always going to work under. You know, integrity. The work isn't done till the paperwork's done. Always have your technical data available to you. All those basic principles work from GA puddle jumper aircraft up to our modern rockets.
I think you bring up a really great point about that, because I think that this is the new age that we're going into technology-wise, and it is important for A&Ps to know not only the basics of turning a wrench, but also understand that a lot of the diagnosis and everything is at a whole new level. The one thing I do want to say, and then if somebody else had some thoughts about this, I welcome you to chime in, but just from my shows and observations and experience, the one thing I will say is what is really great is that, and I heard this at a couple of conferences just a few weeks ago, people forget that, yes, you can get a degree in engineering of some sort, aerospace, aeronautical, electrical, mechanical, etc. But there's still a really strong, and this ties into you guys, need for somebody that goes to a 2-year program, gets their FAA certification, and can jump right out there and start working in a field that is in desperate need of qualified A&Ps. And so the light bulb that came on with you guys to say, let's open up an A&P school is actually really great timing, because there's just a lot going on with that. And I'd like to hear more about your perspective on that. I'd love to hear from the students as well, since you're in the mix.
I'd like to jump in for just a second and go back to what Josh said. This is the history. This is what our dads did. They did the impossible, and they knew they could not fail. It was that simple, because they knew that if they failed, they'd lose a pilot, a crew, whatever else, if it was a P-38, P-40, or if it was one of the bombers, the 17, 28, 29, whatever. They knew they couldn't fail. And I used to tease Dad and say, well, Dad, how did y'all do this? Because you didn't have a lot of tools there. And what did you do? And he said, we had integrity. We had honesty. He said, and if we knew we did something wrong, we had to go quick course correct it, because we knew that people's lives were depending on us, just not our
Absolutely.
pilot, but also the villagers and the people of China, because we had to go help open that supply chain up. So what the guys are doing now, our students, are carrying on that legacy and carrying on the dreams of what our dads had from the 69th and General Chennault. That's the important part to me, that they continue to carry that forward. And one of the things that Nell and Mike and I have talked about a lot, and we will continue to talk about and wheel it into our program, is what happens if a plane goes down and you're responsible? How are you going to deal with that?
Right.
And so we're looking at everything from A to Z that our dads. So these Vincent and Jeremy, you stand on the shoulders of our dads of the 69th and General Chennault and all the pilots from the AVG and the 14th. You stand on their shoulders, but most importantly of all, you stand on their dreams, because their dreams were to make sure that there was a school, that what they did would be carried forward into the future for generations and generations and generations. So
Yeah.
thank you. So that's the history piece of it.
Vincent and Jeremy, chime in on here. Did somebody ask something else?
No, I just wanted to say, I wanted to kind of just say something about what Charlene said and what they said. My grandfather thought so much about the mechanics. He actually wrote about it in his book. He said they performed the impossible. So, there was chewing gum involved, and there were all kinds of ways to. So Josh, when you talk about the new things and the new improvements in the way they do the mechanics of it, I'm just sitting here in amazement about how far we've come, because it hadn't been that many years ago, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it wasn't just
perspective-
chewing gum now. It was, I said to Daddy, what would you do? He said, Sis, our lives would have been so much simpler if we would have had duct tape. It's just not chewing gum and screws and rivets. If we had duct tape, it would have been so much simpler. So I know you're not going to use
Duct tape has quite the history.
but that's the story.
Yeah. Mike,
Well,
how about you?
Well, I was going to say, talking about chewing gum, if you could go back and find all those P40s, you'd probably find most of them had beer cans and soup cans and stuff like that riveted over bullet holes.
Yeah.
Back then, you kind of just found whatever you could to patch the hole and did the work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mike, did you have some perspective on that?
I can say that my CH-46 00 back in 1984 still had Coke cans that were painted over and primered to cover up bullet holes from the 60s. So there were bullet holes all in these helicopters, and they just covered them with Coke cans.
Wow.
That was something. First time I ever seen a Coke can, I was like, really? That was a pretty good idea.
I'd like to hear the students' perspective on what we're talking about.
So my perspective on the school, the biggest thing would be we are pushing out technicians that are completing safe, compliant maintenance. We're not, the thing about CAMA that really excites me and gets me going is we don't look at any individual as a price tag. CAMA really is looking to push out good, compliant, working technicians that there again, I'll touch back on being the thermostat and not the temperature. So we set the tone in any job that we do. And the biggest thing is integrity and being able to stop and say, oh, well, this cotter pin may take me 10 minutes, but I need to re-rig the system. Oh, I'm just going to put the cotter pin in. That's where really the confusion of doing it quicker, but versus doing compliant maintenance comes in, where we don't learn tech data, we just use it. And so nothing from memory, everything coming out from tech data is one of our biggest driving forces, is doing it right and doing it right the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Mike is sitting there so proud.
Yes, I am. I'm actually, I wasn't gonna tell anybody, but I actually had a tear start right there. Just a little bit. I'm so proud of Vincent and Jeremy
Yeah,
right now. All
no,
my
yeah,
students.
well said though, Jeremy.
Amazing.
That's you bring up some really good points. Vincent, how about you?
That was one of the first things that my instructor, Mr. McCraw, told me about integrity, safety, and referring to the tech data every time I'm out there. So before I started working, when I was in the classroom, anything that we went over, he would take me out to the hangar as the guys are working on the planes out there. Um, he would talk me through it, like, hey, they're working on uh, packing the bearings on the wheels, or whatever work they're doing, he'll just talk me through it, tell me what they're doing, how they're doing it safely. Um, and one of the bigger things when I did start working was always refer to the tech data if I run into a wall, just to make sure I'm doing it safely, because that's the biggest thing out there. And Jeremy has said it before. He works at the speed of safe. You know,
Good
I
one.
love that.
Come
yeah,
I
on.
he
might,
said
That's a good
Jeremy, I
one.
may steal that from you. Thank you very much.
That's okay. I've piggybacked off of that for probably about 10 years now. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
love that. That
Yeah.
needs to be implemented ASAP.
yes, sir.
he's heavily emphasized that when I started working, just to make sure everything I do is safe. Make sure our student pilots and our CFIs come home safely, and just do everything the right way. And I'm sure that's what a lot of people back then did as well. Integrity was the biggest thing, and today I feel like it still is.
Hey, Mike, can you go through a little bit of so I'm a kid in high school. I'm pretty good with my hands or auto mechanic type of stuff. Somehow I've become aware of the opportunity to become a aircraft and airplane and power plant mechanic, A&P. And uh, I really would like to have a better feel as to what that would entail. Can you kind of give us an overview of, your programs, what you guys teach, and that type of thing?
Okay. Yes, we have an 18-month, I guess I call it a button seat program. It's traditional. It's very, very exciting, but very lengthy. But we also just started a hybrid program, which we're the only school in this region that is even offering this other program right now. And one thing that I'm very proud of is we just got our certification last November, and we're already enrolling numerous students. But say if you were a student, I would say, first thing I would say to you was, are you ready to change your life? Aviation is a life changer. And I mean, it's just, I don't really know what
And
else to
once
say
you're
about
in,
this,
you're
to be
hooked.
honest with you. Yes, I mean, like I said, all of our students that come in, they really don't know anything, and we just sit them down and explain to them. We talk about our mission here. One of the first things that we do talk about, though, is General Chennault and the Flying Tigers. We break down the history. We tell them a little bit about where we came from, and 9 times out of 10, that hooks them right off the bat. Just knowing about our heritage. And then all I have to do is just kind of sit down and sell them, sell them the rest of the program.
Sure.
But our students actually get to do things that other schools are not even touching on. Our students taxi airplanes, they work on live airplanes, they start engines on a live aircraft. And I mean, I understand that there was a little bit of liability because I did reach out to other schools and ask why they did not do this. And they were talking liability. But my motto is if you got good instructors out there, the
There you
instructor
go.
is one in
Yeah.
charge of that. And so far, 0 accidents, 0 incidents. We've got some really good instructors. Matter of fact, Joshua Borel is a backup instructor, and another gentleman that's not here with us, Casey Salzar. Matter of fact, he first place professionalism this year, by the way. He's another backup instructor. So we give them a good tour, we give them a history breakdown, and then we give them the cost. And once we give them the cost, they're sold. We're one of the
Yeah.
most affordable schools in the region. Also, my motto is take maintenance back to our grassroots. So I was so proud when Aaron bought this grass strip and turned it into an airport. That's where I believe aircraft mechanics need to be trained, not in a car dealership and throw a broke down plane in there and call it an A&P school.
That's one of the
Yeah,
deals that really set us apart from others that allow us to do more hands-on learning than just looking at a computer screen and being told what to do. And then you're being nervous as a 19-year-old kid that just went over 7 hours of work, and now you're expected to now implement 7 hours worth of learning. Let's be real. You listen for 42 minutes and you could only think about lunch the rest of the 6 hours and 18 minutes. So that's the
that is so
biggest
true.
thing that allows us here at Chennault is with Mr. Aaron, we're talking about an airport. 6 months later, we were taking pictures on the runway.
Yep.
2 months later, we're talking about an A&P school. A month later, we got a cage being built in our hangar for an A&P school. And so the one thing that really stands out about our school is if we talk it, we bring it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So-
Wow. Aaron,
let me say,
can you tell? Go ahead.
I just wanted to mention one more thing.
Oh, sure.
We're big on the high schools in the area also. We became members of ATEC. ATEC is Aviation Technician Education Council. And by becoming members of ATEC, we had access to what they call Choose Aerospace. We have 2 high schools in the region that are taking on this Choose Aerospace program. And it's augmented reality, by the way. A lot of it's virtual reality, augmented reality. But bottom line is these juniors and seniors in these high schools can already start their aviation maintenance training as a junior. And when they graduate, their credits transfer right over into our academy.
And then they can
I'm
finish up with you guys and get to work.
They come to our academy and knock out the airframe and the power plant part of it. And I'm very excited about that one. We're just having to wait a little bit to get those students coming in. It just got started this year. And again, it's called Choose Aerospace.
Yeah, no, thanks for bringing that up. I think that's really great that you guys are involved in that. I was going to Aaron to hear a little bit about the pilot training side and where you guys are with that, because I do believe you have a fleet of Pipers that you train in, probably the single engine aircraft that you guys are referring to that you work on. I have a lot of time in a Piper, more than I care to share. No, I've spent from the Cherokee and the Warrior to the Aero 200, etc. I just have plenty of Piper time, even in the little trainer. What was that thing called? The 140. So yeah, Piper and I go way back. But Aaron, tell us a little bit about flight training.
Josh, you have something to say? I saw you raise your hand earlier.
Oh, I was just going to kind of clarify something for the listeners. We're actually sitting on our own airport right now. We're not at a local small airport. We're sitting on our own airport that we built ourselves.
This is the one behind Aaron, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
That's
that was
the
what Nell was talking
future
about
rendering.
earlier. She's like, make sure you show off our airport.
All right. Well, Vincent, you could see I'm sitting here happy listening. So even though I'm not professionalism in the aviation, but I surrounded with everybody so professional what they doing and so good what they doing. They has the same dream with me. They have same mission with me, which is following that Chennault and Flying Tigers a dream. So uh I'm yeah, that's the reason I want to bring out that background of our own airfield. Actually, we inquired that piece of land was old cut and shoot city airport. It's a grass strip in 1947, if I'm not mistaken. This airport has been abandoned for a long time, and I found it. So immediately I saw it, I fall in love with it, and I bought the land. I start construction. 6 months later, I got a runway. I can fly. And I
Wow.
moved here 8 months later, and that's a that's the flight school we has established in Conroe Airport for 5 years before we transferred to here. Now we moved here over 2 years now. We love here and cutting our waiting taxi time tremendously. Our original goal got out of Monroe, Louisiana with Nell, Calloway is go build a flight school. We never mentioned about I'm gonna build an airport. We never had mentioned about go build an MP school.
But that's why Nell got your cell phone number.
Yeah.
She knew. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
See, I'm the guy, not that particular aviator, but I'm actually have a real estate developer background. So I'm kind more painting myself as an entrepreneur. Whatever is good to create money and good to create job, that's what I'm go for.
Oh, come on. But Aaron, we know you're hooked on aviation. You're locked
I
in.
do
It's
now.
all permanent. You can say what you want about real estate and stuff, but you love aviation.
I do now. You know, if I don't come to school a day, I don't feel good. So I had to come to school every day. So we begin with pilot training, which is we bring in high schooler, which is between 18. Our student right now mainly between 18 to 30. Some of them is career training. We train them from zero experience, 0 hour to 300 hour, and get them a PPL instrument, commercial pilot, CFI, even CFII. So a lot of them we has hired them as an instructor before to earn their hour and gain their working experience before they go into airline or other aviation industry to work. In the past 8 years, we create hundreds of pilots all over the country right now. We have some student that we trained in 2018 and still in the captain seat in Southwest Airline right now.
Wow. That's
So
impressive.
we really proud of ourselves, boss. I never report that to you.
No, you did not.
Yeah, we has a pilot, you name it, is SkyWest, ETA, FedEx. We have student our pilots everywhere, which is
That's excellent.
yeah, that's just a very good what we has been done. So since we moved to this airfield, we feel like we're achieving few very important factor. Our students do not have to wait in the runway, taxiway, to take out a landing because the Conroe Airport has become very congested and very difficult to get in and out with tower controlling it. So therefore, and often our student has been chased away by the tower because Conroe Airport has turned into more of a charter and jet airport. So our airplane, I guess, is too slow for them. So they tentatively to chase them away. So make us unhappy. And most importantly, I was concerning about the safety because we are training young boy and girl to be a pilot. The reason they stay with us is because they don't know how to fly. But somebody with that kind of level of high skill and you intimidate them so much, someday will cause a problem. So that's a major factor of we want our own airfield so we can control. Currently, we have a 3,100-foot runway with 70 feet wide paved road. We have taxiway, and we have a two large hangar and flight school right beside it.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And
Go ahead.
currently the reason we have the AMP school nobody has. You don't have not many of a AMP school is inside a service shop. Just as Vincent was mentioned earlier, if he don't understand on the book, his instructor could be able to bring him out to the hangar to show him where exactly the part is and how they install or how do they do it. And
Yeah.
and they have the whole the flexibility to learn. And we like to propose it to a lot of young pilot here, if they can learn how to fly, plus knowing the AMP, the how the aircraft work, their own aircraft, it will be tremendous plus to them. So I'm here trying to leading this young man and woman and boss to put them. I'm doing like a glue, try to glue everybody together, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, as we start to wrap things up, I'd like to get everybody's opinion and words of wisdom for my audience about whatever you think they should be aware of in pursuing a career in aviation and aerospace from your perspective, and giving a historical piece of it. I'm going to go to you first, Charlene, and then you, Nell, to give your guys' perspective, including the historical aspect, and Charlene also the scholarship portion.
Okay. Wow. This has been amazing. A great update for Nell and myself, and to see our students and our grads and Mike and Josh and Aaron. Someone said earlier they're a little emotional, and that's how I feel right now. So I'm going to show you one thing. So hang on. This is the man whose shoulders you stand on.
Ooh.
This is the man who sat in the cockpit when it didn't work and fixed it and crawled in and ate the grease and everything else. This is the man that is so happy because now the 69th, the guys he worked with and helped General Chennault build what they built in Kunming and kept everyone going. Dad's the one and all those men. The scholarship is the most important thing to them. That was their dream, to have you all go forward. So our scholarship arm is Mike and I working together, and Nell and Aaron, and we're moving forward. And I want all of your listeners, Vince, to understand that the scholarships are available, and we're going to have more. And we're building more financial support for students who want to go to school. We've talked about a number of areas of our country to start different facilities in. The high school program is the one that's most exciting to me right now, because the juniors and seniors are lost. They don't know which way to go. Now we have a way to help them. Corporations will be able to have hiring coming into them. So it's important when you graduate from our programs, our academies, you have an open door, and you may even have offers before you graduate of where you want to work. And the sky is literally the limit for all of you. So I encourage the listeners, grandparents, great grandparents even, and moms and dads and the students in school. If you don't know what you want to do with yourself, but you like flight and you like working with your hands, then for goodness sakes, get in touch with us. And we'll help you move forward, have an awesome career that you can then go forward and pay it forward for others in your generation and beyond. So thank you. That's my message to you all.
Absolutely. Nell, let's channel General Chennault through you. What advice would he give to today's youth about careers in aviation?
You know, I think back when World War I started, and he had seen his first airplane fly a few years before, and he wanted to join the aviation program during World War I, but they told him, you do not possess the necessary qualifications to be an aviator. They actually turned him down 3 times before they ever allowed him to get his wings in 1919. And Aaron and I've talked about this before, because Monroe is a poor area. And but he never gave up. He worked really hard. He studied, and he believed, after he studied really hard, in his ability to develop fighter tactics and go forth. And eventually in many ways, he changed history, and especially the history of aviation. So using that model with our students, Aaron and I have talked about it so many times when we first started the school, to inspire young people. It doesn't matter whether you can afford it or not. As Charlene said, she's working hard to help them to do that. But if you want to do it, you don't ever give up on your dream. You keep doing it until you accomplish it. And that's following in my grandfather's footsteps. And I'm extremely proud of our school. I'm extremely proud of all the hard work. I'm extremely proud of everybody that's on this podcast that is proving that our school holds a higher standard than most other schools do. And I'm thankful for that.
Absolutely. And you have a very unique museum that you're heading up. Any plans for the future that you want to share at this point?
Yeah, we have a lot of plans for the future. We want to build a Chennault.
She's like, I got a list, Vince. How much time do you have?
That's right. I was looking at the clock and I'm thinking, I don't think you have enough time. But eventually, we'd like to build the Chennault Aviation Academy. Institute. We have that other, but anyway, Chennault Institute, because that institute would be a place of higher learning and opportunity for people to come together and on an international level, actually, and to try to work towards the future of our country. And, using my grandfather's example of working with Chinese people, that they put aside differences and they were able to accomplish great things. And 80 years later, we're sitting here right now with an academy, thanks to Aaron. I have to say, only a Chinese American could build an airport in 6 months. But anyway, that was a great thing. But he worked 7 days a week, and our model of working hard is really the standard that we hold high.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. Let me go to you, Joshua. What would you like to share in terms of some words of wisdom for the next generation of aviation professionals?
So what I tell everyone is you're not done once you get your license. You're not done when you get your pilot's license. You're not done when you get your A&P license. You got to keep adding letters after your name. So, I've got my A&P, I've got my IA, I've got my private pilot's license. Luckily, I knew a guy that owned a flight school, Mr. Aaron. So, don't ever stop learning, don't ever stop improving, and don't ever stop learning the new technology and systems. I never, back in 2011, Jeremy, back in 2010, you probably never thought that you'd have all your tech data on your cell phone with checklists, your clock in and out system, and things like that. But bringing new technology in, it might be a little bit confusing, but it makes some things way, way, way easier.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up technology because when I first started learning to fly in the 70s, high tech was the little E6B computer slide. Yeah, and you were really, really doing something then. But anyhow,
you had a low ran in your airplane.
I digress. Mike, you've been there and done that all the way around. But you've experienced a lot, and then this opportunity came your way in terms of heading up education for the Chennault Academy and Maintenance. Can you tell us a little bit your perspective in terms of what advice you would give to the next generation?
First off, I would say keep your integrity in check. I mean, that is one of the most important things to become an aviator is integrity. But the next would be a passion. Do you have the passion for it? Most aviators that I've met, long-term aviators, they're all very, very passionate about what they do. And most of them that I've learned from, and I have mentors out there. It's not about what they gain from it. It's about what they can do for other people. And that's one thing that I really loved about aviators and aviation. So first thing, integrity. Second thing, have a passion. If it's a passion and you're passionate about aviation, it's not a job, it's a hobby.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And it explains why a lot of people, when they retire, at the end of their aviation career, they start another aviation career after
Yes, they
retirement.
do.
It's
Yes, they
amazing to
do.
see people, 6 months or a year later, and it's like, hey, I thought you retired. Oh, well, let me give you my card. I'm consulting, or I'm doing this, or I decided to be on this board, or whatever. I mean, aviation's in the blood.
Yes.
It's the way it is. That's why I was teasing you earlier, Aaron, because you can't escape us, man. You're it's permanent. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that Mike, I think you say it really well. I think you make a really good point of that. Aaron, from an inside outsider's perspective, and a life perspective, because you've done a lot and you've been through a lot throughout your career and everything, with all the things that you've done. If you're talking to some young people, what are you going to share with them?
Well, first of all, they live in a good era. They live in a good generation.
Yeah.
They have all the resources. They have all the technology in front of them. Beside what Mike just said earlier about the passion and integrity, they need another called hard work.
Mm.
Don't the money don't rains out us from sky. All right. The opportunity is everywhere. A matter of do they have the integrity and to have that passion to go get it and work on it. Well, for a guy never know aviation into aviation and grow this kind of ray, it's not easy. That's why I gotta be here every day, earlier than anybody, leave here later than everybody. Because that's in order for me to learn in old age. Kind of tough. But I
I
was
have
a
no idea what you're talking about.
Me neither. Me neither.
and I was exactly like what you say. I was retired in 2016. Look what I'm at my handout right now. Is held a responsibility, not just a airport, pilot training, maintenance academy. I'm held a General Chennault name on my head. I have a Flying Tiger name on my head. I cannot do anything that to jeopardize that. So I need young men, women out there. They're in a good time now. They need to use all they can to
Take advantage
pursue
of it.
better future themselves by
Yeah.
hard work, persistent, concentrate. Don't jump in and out because the grass is always greener than other side. Please concentrate what you need to do. You will get yourself something out of you.
Yeah.
Amen.
Aaron, you look good for a retiree. Um,
Oh, thank
no point taken. We're almost out of time, and I wanted to get
you.
a word in from Vincent and from Jeremy. Vincent, I'll go with you. I still feel weird calling somebody else Vincent, but anyhow, I actually have a really good friend named Vincent too, and so we had to decide who was going to be Vincent and who was going to be Vince. Another story for another time. Vincent, what do you see in your future?
Um, Definitely having my A&P, uh, hopefully within the next year. I really want to stay within Chennault as a maintenance technician, just grow with the company, see where it goes, um, and take it further than that. Like Josh said, you never stop learning in this career field. So hopefully I could learn a lot more and contribute more in this industry.
Oh, I think you're going to do just fine, and I wish you the best with everything.
Thank you.
Jeremy?
Yes, sir. I'm Mr. Aaron knows this is I'm 41. This is my end company. So wherever CAA Chennault takes me, that's where Jeremy James is going. And I say stay hungry. And I also want to point out with the transition in the opportunities that we have for students is Vincent is our first student, and he's also one of our first in-house transition to our maintenance team. So he's actually an enrolled in the school, but also part of this is his job. So he not only had to wait until he got his license, he has a job while he's getting his license. So
And he's
getting
kicking butt
more
at both.
hands-on. Yes.
Yes.
Yep. And he's doing great. And I just say, anyone that's out there, anyone that's young, you like to fidget, you like to take things apart, nothing's wrong with you. You're a mechanic. You just don't know it yet.
And you like the taste of grease, then you're really.
Hey, that's it. That's it.
Your oatmeal
Yeah.
tastes much better with grease in it, doesn't it?
It does. You can't even tell. Your tongue will go numb.
Hey, we got to wrap things up, and I do what I call I like to let somebody take it home. Nell, Calloway, Nell Chennault, Calloway. Let me let you say the last words on behalf of your grandfather and the Chennault name.
My grandfather said when the war was over, it is possible for men to fight against great odds and win. And all these people on here have fought against great odds and we're winning. And by us winning, all of us that sit in the airplane at one point in time, we can feel safer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I wish I had more time to talk with you guys, but I am out. And Charlene, I can't thank you enough for pulling this all together. This is really a great opportunity. You guys can thank Charlene for bragging about you, and bugging me and saying, hey, you need to do something with these guys. And then once you started telling me everything in the history of General Chennault, who I've heard about, by the way, so I'm not totally oblivious, but she really pushed it, and I really appreciate all of you taking the time, especially you, Aaron, because I know you're biting at the bit to go fix something or do something work-wise. But really appreciate all of you joining me today and telling about Chennault Aviation and everything that it encompasses. So thank you all for being a part of it.
Thank you,
Thank
Vincent.
you.
Having sense.
Thank you, Nell.
Thank you all. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
This has been another edition of All Things Aviation and Aerospace with the sole purpose of enlightening and inspiring the up-and-coming generation of aspiring young aviation professionals. All Things Aviation and Aerospace is a production of the Private Air Media Group, produced by me, Vince Mickens. I ask and welcome you to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, as well as like links on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. It's my hope that the knowledge you gain from this show will further your interest in this great industry. Till the next time, please stay safe, safe flying if you're a pilot like me, and blue skies.